everyone. Welcome to Hue Spotlight. We have some great entertainment for you. It's going to be super fun. Right, James?
Yep, the shirt doesn't lie.
And he's all dressed up tonight. He's got top hat and the beautiful suit jacket on. And we're talking music, but I think music generally for a younger crowd.
Yeah, I sort of was slipping into doing novelty music for a long time. And it started with a Christmas record, then there was a Halloween record, and then my aunt Beatrice Mosinier, gave me a kid's book to turn into an album. And that was during the pandemic at some point, a couple years ago. And we made this album called Unusual Friendships. And so this is a story about a rat and a cat, and they jig, and they start this jigging band and tour the world. And it kind of got me into the kids stuff a little bit more, which led into super fun, which is what I'm all about now.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so James Culleton, so many things, a sculptor, a designer, furniture maker, also a great dad and musician, and now kids music. What is it about kids music that has made an impact on you? Because you've done so much.
Yeah, I think for me, as a visual artist, the crossover into music seems to be kids music. Like the kids like the visuals. They like things like just over the top stuff, and I found that the songs that I was writing were about how to make music, how to make art, what are you going to be when you grow up, and about science and dinosaurs and outer space and all that stuff too. And then when I made the song, then I could also I'd laugh about it because they're kind of funny, right? And then I'd make music videos. I've been doing a music video every Tuesday, which I call Views Day Tuesday. And I've been doing that I've got 10 weeks in a row I've done videos. Wow. And we did some crazy ones too. We have this one song called Zoom Zoom. It's about this spaceman. He's looking for a place to live, so he's in the Milky Way galaxy looking around for his planet, right? And tries all the planets, and it's raining diamonds on Neptune. You don't want to live there. Well,
I don't know. I
would. And so we ended up building a full-size spaceship and landing it at the Forks during the winter. And I think this medium has allowed me to express myself and realize that there are really no mistakes with this kind of thing. You just do what you got to do, and it feels good.
And that is the beauty, though, of kids. They're so open and receptive to anything, whereas as you get older and become adult, you get your ways, right? The music that you want to listen to, the music that you hate. And for musicians or artists, they struggle with that daily, right? With the bashing and everything. But here, like you said, there's no right and wrong,
I kid you not. There are some kids that are critics. I was playing a show at the Maple Syrup Festival in McCreary. Ooh. And I was getting to the end of my show. A couple of kids had been there the whole thing, which is great. And one of them yells out, "How many more songs?" And I'm like, I look at my set list. I think there's 2. And the kid's like, "Oh, good, thank goodness." And then I looked at my set list again, and there were actually 3. And I said, "Oh no, there are 3." And you hear this groaning, like, "Oh no!" But I think you have to be, because they're so critical, you kind of have to be on it. You have to be on them and make a connection. Mm-hmm. It's not. Yeah. I think some of my older music, maybe I was performing the songs and I wasn't really. I was trying to find a heartfelt connection sometimes, but it wasn't about entertaining that person right there. Mm-hmm. And I found that with kids, that's super important. You've got to engage them because they don't. Their attention spans. You've got to keep it hopping, and that's what. Super fun, actually, when we recorded it. The last song, is written by Roger Malo, mm-hmm. And he knows how to write a pop song. Mm-hmm. And we were in the studio, working on the last song of the day, and everyone's kind of tired. And I play super fun, And wow, everyone's just like, Grant Siemens got a guitar and created this riff, and it just blew everyone's hair back. And it became the title track that moment. And at the end of the day, when you had no energy left, Super Fun like brought you back to life.
Well, it sounds like all of the people that you're playing with are having super fun too.
Oh,
like
yeah.
We're talking about all these musicians.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, Grant Siemens, I've been playing with him like ever since I started playing, you know, I was in my 20s. And he actually helped me produce this one. And so you can tell he sort of, his touches on it. And musically, it's music that adults will enjoy too. Like, it's got some really good hooks. And then just the musicians, like, of course, you know, if I'm doing a project like this, okay, I need a theremin player. Well, that's Carrie Latimer, right? So she wanders in. I need someone to make spaceship sounds. Well, that's Al Simmons. So there you have Al Simmons in the studio, swinging a spring on a can, making this spaceship noise, where Carrie's playing theremin and trying not to get hit in the head with this thing. It was really easy to record because it's fun, you know. It's like, it's not too weighted. I mean, there are songs that have that talk about science and ask questions, and you know, there's a song about water and its importance, but it's still funny. It's like, how would you eat macaroni without water? It would be crunchy, you know, and very important facts about H2O. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, and let's talk about the 2 years past. I guess you had a lot of time to kind of formulate this, or?
Yeah, I mean, once the Unusual Friendships came out, then I got into the studio with Super Fun, and the songs just sort of came to me. Like, I kind of knew what I wanted to talk about. I had a few other people write a couple songs too. And then, actually, in the past year, I popped out another album that hasn't been released yet. Big Songs for a Small World. And these are all the hits. Like these, like Sandwiches, Mana, Three is a Magic Number, Counting Feathers. Like, these are all the hits, my favorite kid songs. But it hasn't been released yet. It's I'm saving it because Super Fun we're charging out with Super Fun right now.
Okay, so Super Fun first, but I do like the biggest hits, James' biggest hits. Yes.
Oh yeah, Big Songs for a Small World.
Yes, Big Songs for a Small World.
Now the Super Fun, we've ordered the vinyl, so that's on the way. That'll be here in October. We did a Kickstarter. It was a super success.
Wow.
And I also put out a coloring book, and it's a coloring song book. It has all the songs and the lyrics if you want to sing along. And I did a bunch of little drawings. That's my son when he was just tiny. Now he's taller than me. Me in a spacesuit. So yeah, I mean, it's like, at shows I hand out these books or pages and crayons and stuff. And there's even a couple songs where I have this one song called What Should I Paint, What Should I Draw?
Yeah.
And in the song, I'm like talking about how daunting the blank canvas is. And I'll hold this one note and I'll draw a person as I'm singing it. And when I'm done, like I do the blind contour drawing, when I'm done, I show it to them. And hopefully it looks like them. I know that when in kids who are critics, one time I did that and I turned it to the person to show them and they're like, no, you know.
And they cried.
No, and the trick there was I asked the person's name, I wrote it underneath, and I said, well, it must be a portrait of you now. It has your name on it, right? Like, that's the other trick. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you do have a way with kids. You missed your calling, but you know what? You're working with Al Simmons. That must have been great, or is great.
He was on my Halloween album when we did Thriller. He was my Vincent Price.
Oh, yes.
On the Unusual Friendships, I had a cat and dog chase in the studio, and he was the barking dog. And then in this Super Fun one, like he was waves of water. He was spaceship noises. He plays banjo on here too. So, and I just try to hang out with him as much as I can. And he calls it therapy. I call it mentorship.
Yeah, yes, I think so. I know. So, I mean, the sky's the limit on this. Do you think this will be something that will progress? You'll keep on doing it, or? James will morph into something else?
Well, you never know. I mean, and that's the thing I try to encourage everybody to keep trying new things and experiment, right? And so I've had a couple songs I've jotted down already for what I think might be the next record. One of them came to me in a dream. It's called the backwards song, and it's you know, what do you call the words that are like you can say them forwards and backwards? You know.
Oh, I know.
Palindromes, maybe.
Could be. Yeah.
Taco cat. Like you can say that both ways. So I think that's the key, is to add that into this backwards song. But that's next album. You don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about Super Fun.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Super Fun, definitely. This summer, you're going to be touring, so we can hear Super Fun and see it with the big band.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Winnipeg Folk Fest is confirmed.
Wow.
I'm sure I'll be out at the Harvest Sun Festival in Kelwood. I'll be out in Clearwater for the Harvest Moon. And I'm doing a string of library shows.
Oh.
Yeah, I got
Cool.
a handful of shows there, which I'm kind of excited to play a library. I don't know if you play it quiet? Or
Yeah,
I don't really know.
You have the librarian shaking her finger at you.
Yeah.
Be quiet. Well, you could always draw a picture of her or him.
Sure, yeah, could do.
Well, that's so much fun. And you know what? It's just, if you kind of look at your whole career, James, and everything that you've done, I know everything has a, I guess, you know, a purpose. But where do you see this right now with kids' music fitting into your life?
Well, I know my teenagers don't want to have anything to do with this stuff, although my youngest son, Finn, designed the cover. So there
brilliant.
You go. Sweet.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we need joy. We need, you know, things that are happy things, funny things, especially now. And I think going forward, I've always liked things that made me laugh as far as songs, and I've sort of collected them over the years. And I think, I mean, I have been listening to this band called Sparks, they're out of the UK, and they're like a synth pop band, and they're super absurd and funny. So, and then my buddy has a bunch of synthesizers. So, I don't know. I mean, I know so many musicians in the city that it's easy and fun to get together with friends and make a record.
Yeah.
But a synthesizer album might be something. So I've been toying with that idea, but I'm not really sure.
Well, it sounds super cool. So maybe that's the next album. But you are going to play us some songs. You know, you're not leaving tonight without
For sure.
a sample. I'm sure there's some kids still up and, you know, checking things out on the computer, and hopefully they'll really like Super Fun and all of that. So we're going to take a short break, and James Culleton will be back live. But right now, we're going to go to an interview with an Irishman now in Canada, and he's a singer-songwriter, and his name is Emmett. Hey, how you doing, Emmett? Welcome to the Hue Spotlight.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
It's a great way to spend a Sunday.
Oh, yeah. So just pretend that there's a spotlight on you. You're on stage. You're back performing in front of an audience, and all is good. So I think that's how 2022 is going to start off with. Anyways, when you get back to performing. But you have a very interesting backstory. You're in Calgary, but you're definitely not born in Calgary, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm from Derry, in the north of Ireland, and I moved to Canada in mid-June last year. So in the middle of all the hotel quarantines and 2-week quarantines and constant COVID tests. So it's been an interesting couple months, but it feels like things are slowly coming back to normal, and it feels like life in Calgary is reaching its I'm starting to feel more and more comfortable, so smooth sailing from here, hopefully.
Okay, so please tell me you didn't close your eyes and put your finger on a map of the world and it landed in Canada, Calgary. I mean, it could have gone a little bit more to the right, and you could have landed here in Winnipeg, and then I would have gone, you're crazy. But Calgary, Alberta, what was the
Calgary,
enticement?
Alberta.
Sorry. You wanted to become a cowboy?
I can't say I've ever considered being a cowboy before this point. The first thing I bought was a cowboy hat, though, so that's
Oh.
clearly the direction I'll be going in after a few years here. But I have a few friends that we're living out in Calgary, still are, but I managed to go out with my partner, Charlie, right before the pandemic in September 2019. And at the time, we were both living in London, England, working as journalists, and the culture was just quite different. I felt like there was a really like live to work culture in England that I wasn't necessarily comfortable with. And here it's just completely different. Like the food culture is different, the drink culture is different. People do their work and then don't obsess about it overnight and lose sleep over it. Yeah, I got here in September 2019, and we were here for about 9 days, and that was enough for me to have the hard sell of, yep, I'll move here for a couple of years.
Just 2 years you're giving yourself, or
So I'm currently on a working visa, so
okay.
I have 2 years here at least, and then I can apply for PR, and then if PR goes well, I can apply for citizenship. But that's all quite far down the line. I think that's after like 5 or 6 years. So
Oh,
playing it by ear for the minute.
okay, and no pun intended. Play it by ear. So you come by music. Music then has always been a part of your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm from a very musical family. My brother is uh, he's a seminarian in America, and he is the director of like a choral chant, and like he's a very very talented man. And yeah, growing up, we were always interested in music. He's a little bit older than me, so whenever he first got a guitar and was reaching his stride in terms of his talent, I was like, well, I've got to pick up a guitar now as well. So yeah, the I guess sibling rivalry has done wonders for us.
Okay, so songwriting though and storytelling, I think is one of your strong points. And you did mention that you were a
Thank you.
journalist, so I guess that comes part and parcel.
Yeah, well, I studied creative writing in Belfast, and that was a really good experience for me. I always kind of wanted to be a journalist, mostly because I thought that creative writing wasn't a viable career choice at the time, which is a very silly thought now looking back. But yeah, initially I was like, right, so journalism, being able to like write things as a matter of fact and critically and stuff. But creative writing helped me to really like open that up. And so I tried poetry for a while, and eventually realized that the poetry that I was trying to write was really just more of a like lent itself to music very well. So that was kind of the nucleus of where my music started to come from. And I took myself really seriously with it, and then eventually realized that the more you let loose and try and lean into a bit of humor or satire or something, it just gives things a completely different energy. You don't have to be so serious all the time. But being able to write like that, or be able to convey something without it being too dramatic, is something I've really been working on recently. So we'll see how that pans out.
Well, you know what? That certainly is refreshing. And if you kind of look at what's happening in the world today, um, what's happening in Russia and Ukraine, I was thinking too, I mean, leaving your home of Belfast, and of course that has been a hotbed of religious war, you name it, politics. And, a lot of singers have and songwriters have written about it and, I guess voice their opinions. When you say you kind of like to not be dramatic, put that edge of humor in it, how much of Emmett wants to come out in those songs and make a statement?
Uh, I would say I'm a pretty political person, for better or for worse. And so I try and address things in ways that kind of like skirt away from the obvious approach. A good example would be, I have a song called JJ Johnston, and it's really a song about the pandemic, but it's more of a love song. It's about my neighbor back home, and he's a hairdresser, so he had to close the shop during the pandemic. And yeah, he got in touch with me, and he was like, "Can you write something about this?" And at the time, I was like, "That's such a weird thing to ask. It's a strange like, oh, can you write a song just kind of based on based on this thing that's happening. Uh, so I was feeling a little bit strange about it, and I was like, well, I might as well try it, see what happens. And about 40 minutes later, I had the final version of the song. It kind of made me realize I could play with things in a certain way. I try and address some of the politics in Ireland a tiny bit in a song of mine that's like called "I Am a Bomb Technician. If you see me running, try to keep up." It's very much, it's a similar thing of like, even the title is a wee bit tongue in cheek. It's far too long to be a title, and the song kind of skirts on ideas of like living in England and coming back to Ireland, and England doesn't really feel like home, but then whenever you go to Ireland, it's just, you've got to like see everyone again and go to the local pub and meet all the people that you went to school with that you don't really remember the name of anymore, but remember you had really strong feelings about at the time. So yeah, I think stuff like that is always fun to try and address. And yeah, it's not necessarily like the heaviest topics of politics, but it's enough to feel political, which is quite nice sometimes.
Well, and that's so interesting because it seems like the Irish, they just have a hard time letting things go. And the past is so important. Whereas you come over to North America, the past is, well, that was 10 seconds ago. I'm on the, the next 20 seconds of life. Forget about the past. It's what's coming tomorrow and the next thing and the next thing after that. How do you...
I completely agree.
Yeah. Where do you fit in? Right in the middle.
That's an interesting question. I like to think I'm a bit of an old soul, which in my head kind of translates to I'm quite cynical. So I do hold on to grudges probably longer than I should, but but it's something that I'm trying to work on. I don't have the best memory in the world, so it's really just the things I can remember. And then if it's not worth remembering, then it's on to the next thing.
Well, typical songwriter. Okay. And so that moves me now, a nice segue to, I had to write this down. The Chelsea Hotel is closed until further notice.
Yeah, the Chelsea Hotel is closed until further notice. Okay.
The title's getting a little bit smaller there, Emmett, but okay. Story behind this one.
So I am a big Leonard Cohen fan, and I was trying to work with the idea of like a visual prompt, which isn't something I usually do. And I came across a self-portrait of Leonard Cohen from, I guess, like the 70s or 80s. I think it was in France, or maybe it was in Germany. But it's a self-portrait of him, and he's wearing a hat, and he looks quite sad. And the caption is, "One of those days where the hat doesn't help." And I was like, that's kind of a funny thing, because I feel like everyone, like, for example, if I'm having a bad day, I'd probably try and dress a little bit nicer just to feel a wee bit more like myself. But it's not something that's discussed. So I felt like the fact that someone else had that kind of approach to things was quite funny to me. So I wanted to explore that. The song gets a little bit more introspective as it goes on, and it gets quite dramatic, but in a way that I think is kind of like campy. It's over the top. It has a melodica in it, which is like a keyboard that you have to blow to play. It's all quite I was thinking like Parisian, bohemian, and just as the icing on the cake, because Leonard Cohen of course has his famous song Chelsea Hotel No. 2. I did go to New York a couple of years ago to specifically, I took a day and I was like, I'm gonna go see the Chelsea Hotel with my partner, and it was closed for renovations. So I thought that was quite funny.
And it would be so like you just like to tear the door down and just go in and take a tour anyways.
That's it. Yeah, it was definitely that kind of like that irony, and that was before Leonard Cohen died as well. And I kind of feel like the idea of the doors being closed was kind of like the end of that era of folk music as I see it. And so as someone who's just about to bring out their debut album, Carlin's Farm, on April 8th, I felt like it was a good time to appreciate the music that I grew up listening to. I think the first vinyl that my mom ever bought growing up was a Leonard Cohen album. And so it's always been part of my life. So I wanted to kind of have like a tribute to that, but also in a really cheeky way, kind of harness the idea of me being involved in a new era of folk music. Because apparently I have that kind of ego these days.
Well, apparently so, and you're starting it in all places, Calgary. Did anybody tell you Calgary isn't the hotbed of folk music? But it sounds like you don't go for the easy way. So.
Oh no, I never have.
Yeah, you know, folk music with a cowboy hat and an Irish accent. I think you got it covered, Emmett. But yeah, that's, you know, no, it's pretty exciting. And if you kind of think of it, you can do anything. You can have any sound, right? Because
I like to think so.
Everybody is, yeah.
It's quite interesting. I feel like a lot of artists do try and lean into like the idea of creating a song on an album that is like the commercial song. And with my album, I funded it all myself. I kind of went into it like, well, if I never get to do this again, I want to be able to say I tried everything. So it is a bit of a hodgepodge of an album in places. But it's definitely not something where I thought about what happens next. I really just wanted this to be like its own little thing in a lot of ways.
Aww.
So.
Well, we can hardly wait to hear it. You are going to play a song, and congratulations on your debut album.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Yes.
So
okay.
the song I was going to play is a single that I'm bringing out. At the time of this recording, I'm bringing it out in 3 days' time, which is quite daunting. I'm bringing it out on a Wednesday. I've never brought out music on a Wednesday before. It just felt like the right thing to do, just to see what happens. And I actually I didn't steal the song, but I stole the song title from my friend who the song was about. So I'm sure he'll forgive me.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Am I okay to play it now?
Okay, yeah. And what's the song called?
The song is called Sticky Floor Serenade. Yeah.
Okay, it only has 4 words. That's a good one. Oh, it's 3 words.
3 words, yeah.
3 words.
So they're getting shorter and shorter. There's one song on the album that only has 1 word in it.
Oh, amazing.
Innovation. It's crazy what musicians are doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's the song. I really hope you like it. I took a train right to your house to sit on a beanbag. What's that about? Past the stage where we act our age. We get off our faces in the time. She'll go and paint the time. No longer used to bouts of rain. I light a flag and it melts away. If you're Jack White, does that mean I make? And you call out, that's an awful thing to say. You say, what an awful thing. Tackled by the boys, so I danced into Apache. You threw up in the taxi by the traffic lights. And I was in the back seat when Phoebe turned and asked me, will you take care of Patty? 'Cause I'm not stick around. So I took a train right to your house. try to keep up without passing out. There's no rest for a man in a snakeskin dress.
Hi there, everybody. All right, I'm James Culleton. I'm going to play you a couple songs from my latest record. It's called Super Fun. There's T-shirts available. There's coloring books. I think we're going to do a giveaway, so stay tuned for that. But so here's a couple songs. This first one's called Believe It or Not, and it's sort of my take on how I feel about science and how it's sort of it's ever changing. You know, you're always re-hypothesizing. So here we go. All right. Okay. 60 million years ago, dinosaurs walked the earth in the Mesozoic era for what it's worth. Over 700 species, that's what I heard. At first we thought they were reptiles, now we think they're birds. Believe it or not, that's what science is like. You hypothesize and you check if you're right, and science is right until it's not. Then we make new predictions based on what we've been taught. The Brontosaurus was my favorite of the dinosaurs. The long-necked, long-tailed thunder lizard, who could ask for more? In 20,003 we decided it didn't exist, but in 2015 the dinosaur is back on the list. Believe it or not, that's what science is like. You hypothesize and you check if you're right, and science is right until it's not. Then we make new predictions based on what we've been taught. All right, here's another one. The Tyrannosaurus Rex is another case in point. At first we thought it was loud and fast and ruled the joint. With a little more research we found out something new. It's slow and rumbles low and has pretty colors too. Believe it or not, yeah, that's what science is like. You hypothesize and you check if you're right, and science is right until it's not. Then we make new predictions based on what we've been taught. Whew. This is where there's a clarinet solo usually, I think. Believe it or not, that's what science is like. You hypothesize, then you check if you're right, and science is right until it's not. Then we make new predictions based on what we've been taught. All right. Is Pluto a planet? And why do we dream? Is there more to life than just you and me? Is it nature or nurture? How did life begin? Will we ever travel through time? And will the Jets ever win? Believe it or not, that's what science is like. You hypothesize and you check if you're right, and science is right until it's not. All right. So that's my science song. Now, coincidentally, this next one I wrote for an egg farmer. He's a friend of mine, Gilles Maguette. And I was at his place out in St. Rose de Lac, and we had this moment. I was just jokingly making this song. And so next thing you know, like a year later, I finished it, and I sent it to the egg farmers of Manitoba. And they are they're giving us a budget to make a video. So next week, me, Leaf Norman, Curtis Weeb, we're all headed out to St. Rose to film a video about eggs. So now this song is like, I just figured out, it's kind of like I've Been Everywhere Man, but it's about eggs. So there are lots of lyrics. I'm going to try to get them all correctly and also put this kazoo solo in here. So we'll see how it goes. But hey, kids, no mistakes, you know? You just go for it. Just give it a try. All right, here we go. There are many ways that I like to eat some eggs. It really cracks me up that a chicken laid them. There are many ways I've found I'm not yoking around. So many exciting ways to eat an egg. You can have them over hard, over soft, over medium, in an omelet, scrambled, basted, you can poach them. Try them shirred, you could try them fried, or in a nice hash or up sunny side. There are many ways that I like to eat some eggs. It really cracks me up that a chicken laid them. There are many ways I've found I'm not yoking around. So many exciting ways to eat an egg. You can have green eggs, steak and eggs with sausage or bacon in an omelet or hash or Benedict you're making. You can try them in a pancake or maybe even in a milkshake. There are many ways that I like to eat some eggs. It really cracks me up that a chicken laid them. There are many ways I've found I'm not yoking around. So many exciting ways to eat an egg. All right. There are many ways that I like to eat some eggs. It really cracks me up that a chicken laid them. There are many ways I've found I'm not yoking around. So many exciting ways to eat an egg. Now we'll go around the world. You can try les œufs, coquette, creme brulee, huevos rancheros, or sausage wrapped Scotch eggs. Have you tried your egg Spanish fried? Kayatse is an omelet that's Thai. Tamagoyaki's an egg log that's Japanese. Migas is good if you got some cheese. Shakshuka is a Tunisian dish. Quack quack fried quail eggs if you wish. Creamed egg custard is a dish from China. Menemen is from Turkey and there's nothing finer. There are many ways that I like to eat some eggs. It really cracks me up that a chicken laid them. There are many ways I've found I'm not yoking around. So many exciting ways to eat an egg. Yeah, so many exciting ways to eat an egg. Remember, kids, eggs are an excellent source of vitamin D.
And on that note, oh my goodness, you crack me up.
Oh,
and that's no joke.
Excellent.
I know,
Excellent.
I know. Hey, wouldn't you know it? All right, so kids, like James promised, we have a super fun prize package. We have the super fun coloring book, and we've got the CD, super fun, and I'll let you do the next one.
Yeah, we got Big Songs for a Small World, unreleased, but also awesome. And then Unusual Friendships, which is a nice story about a cat and a rat who start a band.
Okay, so kids, all you have to do, or maybe get your parents, send an email to hello@ilikehue.com and leave your name and telephone number and also your email so we can get a hold of you. All right, good luck. And thank you, James.
Thank you.
It has
Always
been
a pleasure.
Super fun, super fun. Go out and get it. Go and hear them, Winnipeg Folk Fest. I think that would be the best place to see James. Thanks so much. Thank you for joining us here on Hue Spotlight, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time with Desiree Dorion and Dave Wazaloo.